Hey guys, it's IndyCar Dad, and I'm going to do a little video. This is the first one. I'm going to say, where's the fun in that? That's what this segment is called. And with today's news that Jack Harvey is going to step away from pit reporting for this year's Indy 500 by being in the 24 car. Jack raced the 24 car last year, so let's talk about where the fun is in watching Jack Harvey. So Jack's been around for a few years. He isn't as long as veteran as you might think. I believe he started in the series in like 2017. So although he seems older, like a Ryan Hunter-Reay type, he's really not been around that long. And he hasn't really had that many full-time seasons. And we can talk about that. But Jack is fun because he is very talented as a driver, but he just doesn't seem to get the breaks that he needs. So every driver like that is just one lucky break away from a big win. So let's talk about his IndyCar series. First of all, before IndyCar, he did a lot of karting where he was champion. He raced in Formula 4 where he was a national champion. And then he raced in Formula 3 where he won races. But he was a runner-up, I believe, in the title over there. So he came to the U.S. to race in Indy Lights. Pretty typical thing, kind of like what a Dennis Hauger is doing right now. So Harvey won races in Indy Lights, so he did quite well with that. He was runner-up in the championship 2 times. So he never won the Indy Lights championship, but he was second place 2 years in a row. So that put him as a pretty solid driver. Also, Jack's a handsome guy. He attracts sponsors, and I think there might be some personal wealth in there as well. But certainly wealth that makes you rub with noses with the right people. So Jack Harvey has always done well, and I think sponsors like him. Like I said, he's attractive. They've used him in ads and that type of thing. So when he got to IndyCar, he didn't get a full-time ride. He just got some rides. First with Andretti at the 500, and then with Schmidt-Peterson for a couple races, and then he joined Mike Shank Racing, which is now Meyer Shank Racing. So Mike Shank had decided to go IndyCar racing, and he chose Jack Harvey as the driver to start his team. So, and you would think that beginners and beginners might be a bad combo, but it actually worked out pretty well. The first year they did 6 races, and they went pretty well especially for a startup. The next year they did 10 races, and then they did a full season in 2020, which was the COVID year. So that was a short season, but they did the whole season, and Harvey finished 15th in the points. So that's pretty good. I mean, 15th in a startup team is pretty stunning. The next year they did another full season, and Harvey got 13th in the points. So here's a guy that like running this, startup team's car with not a lot of resources, and he's getting near the front. So that's exciting to watch, He was qualifying very well, and he was fast on race day as well. And it all seemed very underfunded, and it seemed very dynamic. But people were pretty excited about Jack Harvey as a result. And then he signed on to one of the bigger teams. Unfortunately for him, that team was Rahal Letterman. And his first season in Rahal Letterman went very poorly. He just didn't seem to have the pace. He was outpaced by his teammates pretty severely. And then at the end of the season, he finished 22nd in the championship, which was not good. And not what he was expected. Like, he had signed this deal, and he was kind of like where a Christian Lundgaard is right now. So if you imagine if Christian Lundgaard came in and finished, 22nd in the series, that would be Nolan Siegel-esque, except Nolan is a young man, and Harvey at this time was pretty seasoned. So the second year in Rahal Letterman, because he signed on for a multi-year contract and they were forced to run him, he did poorly as well. In fact, he was 24th in the season, so that's really terrible. And he was actually fired with 3 races left to go in the year. So real bad luck. In 2024, he joined Dale Coyne, but only Dale, I don't know if, it was kind of weird because Dale didn't really leap to get Jack Harvey in the seat. In fact, for I think 3 races during the year, Dale sold that seat to someone else. For example, at the Indy 500, Catherine Legg ran the car, and Jack was on the sidelines, so he did not run the Indy 500 that year. And then in 2025, he only did the 500, where he finished 19th for Dreyer and Reibold in the same car he'll run this year. So I think it's fun to see a privateer, run 19th. That's exciting. I like privateers at the Indy 500, so that's fun. So where's the fun in watching Jack Harvey? Well, the fun in Jack Harvey is you don't know what you're going to get. Was he great at Shank in cheap equipment because Shank was doing well, or was he just running it? He obviously has talent. He won races in Indy Lights and in Formula 3 and Formula 4. So he's not one of these rich kids like a Devlin or something that doesn't win races. Jack Harvey wins races. So he's capable. The sponsors love him, so he'll get the run. I wouldn't call him an Indy 500 like whiz or anything. I mean, he finished in the top 10 once. It looks like he's run it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So he's run it 8 times. He only has 1 top 10. So, but I think we all like Jack. You see him in the pits on the grid walk. He's a real nice guy, and it'll be fun that they'll probably have real good commentary with Jack during the month of May. So where's the fun in that, IndyCar Dad? There's lots of fun in watching Jack Harvey run. So we'll see him in May. Thanks for watching.